And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition, another fortnight of StarCraft Evolution League number 11. I'm, of course, your ZvP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to another broadcast of StarCraft Evolution League. It has been far too long. It's been far too long. Unfortunately, our schedule was just so busy last week that we didn't even cast any StarCraft Evolution, if I'm not mistaken. So now we're here to catch up. Of course, this tournament, this is a replay cast. This event did take place over the weekend where we were otherwise busy covering other tournaments. Again, it's just been a really intense period in time when it comes to StarCraft, just because we have DreamHack Dallas, Stars Agora, we had the May Mayhem, we have RSL qualifiers this weekend, we have Homestory Cup. There's a lot. GSL, yeah, GSL is another big one where we're just jam-packed our schedule. So because of that, certain events have fallen by the wayside a little bit. We will be catching up eventually. I'm specifically referring to Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup is definitely a tournament that we're behind by like 3 weeks, so we have to catch up on Kung Fu Cup eventually. We'll get there. Same with StarCraft Evolution League, and same with King of the Hill as well. We'll get there. Also, thank you so much. Akris the Cruz, thank you so much for resubscribing for 4 months. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it, as this week's edition of StarCraft Evolution League is a little bit different, and I feel like partly because of what I mentioned, because there's just so much happening in StarCraft 2. Does feel like potentially a lot of the regulars in StarCraft Evolution are otherwise preoccupied with GSL. Let us switch our seats over and catch up on the bracket. Let's go. Oh, the youthful Yakov. Let's go. Aye. But yes, we do have our bracket here tonight, and as you can see, we are missing some key players. We are missing players like Björn, players like Shin. Dark, of course, did retire by this point. He did step away. He did go and conduct his military service. But again, Björn, Hero, Shin, there are some key Koreans that are usually regulars in these tournaments and are usually vying for that championship spot. But GSL, right? GSL was, the qualifiers were 2 weeks ago at this point, and of course the group stage 1 was last week, so I'm sure a lot of them have been focusing on StarCraft 2, less so on StarCraft Evolution. For those who just started tuning in for the first time, maybe wondering, hold up, what's going on? This is StarCraft Evolution, not StarCraft 2. It is a mod. It is a mod in StarCraft 2 that does pit together Brood War and SE2 races, and they do clash here before us. It's a lot of fun. It's very refreshing as well. It's a great break from StarCraft 2. Of course, as always, our main focus is StarCraft 2, and that is, of course, our main passion as well. It is the game mode that we enjoy the most, but every now and then it's fun to take a break and to dip our toes into StarCraft Evolution. Every now and then. And again, because of that, it looks like this week the turnouts for certain caliber players was a little bit lower, a little bit leaner, but regardless, we have a solid lineup nonetheless. We have more European representation here instead. Still some Koreans, don't get me wrong. I will say though that coming into this, we're stepping into the quarterfinals. 3-point versus Prime, we don't have access to those replays, unfortunately, so we did miss that series, but we'll be covering YoungYakov versus MindelVK, Wayne versus Rebellion, non-stop ZvPs here tonight. StarCraft Evolution League is usually dominated by Terran, usually players like Björn, like Spirit, like Hon Mono. They're not here. They're not here though. They're not here. They're not in the quarterfinals, as I mentioned before, just because the season of SE2 has now kicked into high gear when it comes to EWC, when it comes to Stars Agora, when it comes to all these offline events. I'm sure a lot of the regular SE2 competitors are taking a break from StarCraft Evolution and focusing on StarCraft 2. Which again makes sense. Which does make sense. Let's go. How does he more evil? 100%. Always. So here we go. We're going to be stepping into the ring. We do have our first 2 series here before us here in the quarterfinals. We're going to be covering YoungYakov versus MindelVK, Wayne versus Rebellion, then stepping into the semis, then stepping into the grand finals thereafter. Here we go as we get into game 1. Game 1 going to be on Neo Isles of Siren. What a way to start the broadcast. It's beautiful, papi. It's beautiful. Let's go. The best map out there. It's amazing. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of YoungYakov of Siren, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg himself. It is YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing StarCraft Gaming. It is MindelVK. Here we go. Again, our quarterfinals are ready for us. And for those of you that were curious as to why I was, again, enjoying myself so much coming into game one, welcome to YoungYakov of Siren. This is one of the few island maps in the tournament map pool. Again, StarCraft Evolution, they're not afraid to spice things up when it comes to their maps. Some for good, others for bad reasons. There's definitely some questionable maps out there when it comes to StarCraft Evolution, but they're willing to explore, they're willing to branch out, they're willing to make mistakes and then rectify those mistakes and then get rid of some maps and then introduce some other maps, and yeah, just have a little bit more freedom with that. And here we go. Welcome to YoungYakov of Siren. This is a 4-player spawn map. We spawn in bottom left, bottom right, top right, or top left. Meanwhile, YoungYakov comes in with the Overlord, and with the help of the Overlord, he will scout immediately what is going on. Let's go. Does move in, does scout, does confirm the expansion, is aware. Of course, MindelVK, what do we see? Nexus before Gateway. So Pylon, Nexus here out of MindelVK. I mentioned before, we're on island maps. We are completely cut off here by these small rivers that do cut the map into 4 big quadrants. Because of that, you can be hyper greedy like this. Same YoungYakov, he does go hatch into gas pool. Again, you can cut as many corners as possible here because you are completely safe from early game aggression. Yes, Stargate openers, and there can be Stargate play and Nidus worms and all that good stuff, but that does hit later on in the game stage. So you can cut as many corners as possible coming into an island map like this. So he cut all the corners. From here, at least YoungYakov is aware of his opponent's location. MindelVK should be aware as well. I believe the probe, yep, I mean, if he didn't before, he does see it now. He does see the Overlord, so they do spot each other. So now they know that they are close spawns. Close spawns here between YoungYakov and MindelVK. From here, we have seen some interesting builds, some interesting styles. Bearing in mind, this is Brutal Protoss against SC2 Zerg. Brutal Protoss is less mobile. I was going to say that we have seen players go into ground toss and go into warp prisms to harass and warp in and commit into an all-in across the map, rush into motherships for mass recall. But for Brutal Protoss, I would say that Sky Toss is probably more viable here, whether it's getting into Sky Toss or whether it is going into, I guess you can go to some shuttle play, but it's going to be a little more difficult to reinforce. So I feel like Skytoss is a must here for MindelVK. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, he has options. He has options. You can go into mutas, right? You can go into muta play, you can go into Nidus play, you can go into Droplord play instead. There are options here for YoungYakov with how mobile he wants to be, with how he wants to try to leapfrog over onto some of these other islands. But mutas is the most common. Some map makers use the incredible power for evil. Exactly. Oh no. Not like this. Looking at you, Return of the King. I'm still it's still a clown map. For now, though, it is going to be +1 air attack. We have the Stargate on the way. So, again, no surprise here. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of MindelVK heading into Sky Toss. This should automatically deter any kind of muta play just because Corsairs shut down mutas so hard. Corsairs, for those that are curious, they're kind of like the Phoenix, but not. In the sense that Corsairs do splash damage. So, as mutas naturally stack, well, they get punished for stacking and they take so much damage to a handful of Corsairs. Now, we did have a patch like a month ago at this point, and I haven't actually casted too much StarCraft Evolution since the patch, but there was a patch that did nerf the amount of damage that Corsairs did. I say Corsairs, in general, AoE damage from Corsairs and Valkyries was reduced just because it was very punishing, and it would completely shut down not just mutas but Vikings as well in TVT between Valkyrie and Viking and other air-based units. So it was really strong, really punishing. It is now less so. It's still really powerful, but what you could achieve earlier with like 5 Corsairs, now you need like maybe 8 Corsairs. So you need slightly more Corsairs to achieve the amount of critical damage that you would previously. speaking of, Corsairs on the way. Meanwhile, ooh, Yakov is going into the Spire. Now, thankfully for Yakov, we do see that MindelVK, he's going Carrier first. He's going Carrier plus Corsair at the same time. He's not rushing into pure Corsair. Because of this, the Corsair count is going to be a little bit lower, and there might be an opportunity for mutas. Otherwise, we could just go straight into Corruptor. True. This could just be straight Corruptor instead. We'll see what Yakov does go for. As the Infestation Bit's on the way. That should be for Hive Tech. That should be for Spellcasters, Vipers, I would imagine. And we'll see what Yakov does invest into first. Corruptor or Muta. I feel like mutas are a bait, but at the same time, it's only one Corsair. Look at this, we're going into mass carrier here, so if MindelVK doesn't realize what's going on and he hasn't fully scouted, he might get caught off guard here by something a little bit faster, by something a little bit stronger. Bearing in mind that carriers do need their upgrades to be able to increase the capacity of interceptors to 6 or to even 8, I believe, at least 6. Right now they're at 4 by default. So the carriers early on aren't actually quite too strong, at least not without the upgrade. And yep, there it is, Corruptor. Okay. This makes more sense here. So again, Muta play is going to be deterred. We're going into Mass Corruptor instead. This does make more sense. And with the amount of Corruptors that we're making, oh, interesting, with Drop Lord for support as well. I was going to say, with the amount of Corruptors we're making, can we try to break this position early on? The carrier count is still quite low, and these carriers are quite vulnerable. There we go. You can see that MindelVK is creating this outpost. We have shield batteries, we have cannons on the way. MindelVK is fortifying himself here at his forward base. Some of the Corsairs have been revealed. Corruptors they do threaten the expansion. MindelVK out of position. And the Nexus is going to go down. Corsairs, they try to punish. They do get one of those Corruptors. Just the one. So nice pick off here by YoungYakov. Oh god. Does turn to fight. Does get punished for it. Doesn't quite get a Corsair. Oh. Doesn't quite, but as we mentioned, it did rush into a Hive, and we're rushing into Vipers. So again, Vipers are going to help so much against this. We did speak on stacking, and Parasitic Bombs can help against the Corsairs. Abductions can help pick up the carriers one at a time. At this stage of the game, I am concerned that MindelVK isn't too familiar with Skytoss, just because I don't see an upgrade here. Specifically, I don't see the carrier upgrade yet. To be fair, for me, it might be hidden behind, I'm pretty sure it is behind the Fleet Beacon though. I was gonna say it might be behind another prerequisite tech structure, but I'm pretty sure it's only behind the Fleet Beacon. So these carriers are weaker than they should be at this stage of the game. So far, YoungYakov once again still patrolling. We have more shield batteries, more cannons on the way. The drop lords are only to expand. I was curious if we were going to be supporting with like infestors and fungals or something like that, but looks like that is not the case. We're just going Mass Corruptor. Going Mass Corruptor. There we go. Nidus Worm as well. Vipers are stocked up, and we're looking for reductions. And again, we still have yet to invest into those carrier upgrades. And again, I'm fairly certain that it is available here. It is accessible. Wait, speaking of, I believe that's it. Oh, let's go. And meanwhile, Parabomb here on the carriers. Oh, first Viper gets started down. We dive, and we stack on top of the carriers. Oh god, oh no, oh god, that was not it. He tried to go for the Parabomb trick. Oh no. Oh, well, Yakov just lost everything. So what just happened? So first things first, one, the carrier upgrade just finished. Now we get up to 8. That's it. 8, not 6. So 8 interceptors now per carrier, so the carrier's now stronger. What just happened here is that what you do against StarCraft 2 Skytoss is you Parasitic Bomb, you stack on the carriers, and then you can kill the interceptors, because the interceptors they stack on the Parasitic Bomb because the Corruptors are stacked on the Parasitic Bomb. What usually deters that is Archons. Basically, what we just saw, YoungYakov, he did not respect the Corsair. He's like, oh, there are no Archons. That means I can stack. He stacked. The Corsairs killed everything. Oh my god. that was 22 corruptors going down. That's game. That was everything. Oh no. So Yakov finding out the hard way how much Corsairs can punish and how much they will punish. Oh no. So yeah, do not stack. The Parabomb stacking trick does not work if there are Corsairs. They're even stronger than the Archon. With that, so you can see MindelVK has a massive supply lead, and it's gonna take a long time to recover. I don't think YoungYakov can. I'll be honest. I don't think he has the economy for it. Like, now it's time for MindelVK to pop off. Classic combo, 22 corruptors into death. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a learning curve. Obviously, there's a learning curve. You have to be experienced when it comes to dealing with this composition. And again, Corsairs, they shut down mutas, they shut down any form of stacking like that. The ideal, I would imagine, then would be to just abduct one carrier at a time. Especially because there are no Tempest. Typically in SC2 versus SC2 Zerg and Protoss, you have the Tempest punish you, right? Because the Tempest have so much range, if the Viper tries to go in for an abduction with good enough control, you can pull away the carriers and you can push forward the Tempest and you can snipe, right? You can snipe the Vipers, or of course you can use feedback from the High Templar as well. Here, I would imagine, because there are no Tempest and because there are no High Templar with this army, I would imagine you have to take it slow. You have to take it slow, you have to like abduct one at a time. Speaking of, yep, there we go. We have to try to just abduct slowly, surely, and pick away at the army. Nice Parabomb here on the Corsairs. Not bad. Likewise, targeting the Corsairs with Parabombs instead, so that was a better engagement here from YoungYakov. But after the earlier loss, he has to keep this up. Like, he still has a lot of pressure. He's going in front of the dive. Oh. Calm down. Calm down. But I would say that there's less dive potential against pure brutal Skytos than there is with SC2 Skytos. I would say for StarCraft 2, it is more necessary to have a ground army to support you with Archons and Storm. Here, it seems like you can achieve the same result with pure Skytos for brutal Protoss, which is crazy. Arbiter has arrived. Arbiter is almost going to be targeted down. But yeah, like, basically the Corsairs, they play the same role that the Storm and that the Archons play, essentially. At least for anti-air, right? Obviously they don't shoot down. They have disruption webs. Regardless, Fungal here on the army, the Fungal does nothing, and yeah, MindelVK is just going to serve light control. He's just going to serve light control from here. Is pushing through. And there's just nothing that YoungYakov can do. Not anymore. Not after the earlier loss. Again, 22 Corruptors for nothing is just a brutal way to start the match. And the Skytos does get out of hand. Corruptors again for the final dive. Oh god, the Corsairs, they completely mow their way through the Corruptors. Jesus. Yeah, with that, there's nothing left. GG gets called, and MindelVK will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. MindelVK does take a lead in the series. Again, we actually haven't seen too much PvZ on Neo Isles of Siren just because Terran has been so dominant as of late, and we usually get Terran matchups. But yeah, I feel like this does a great job at showcasing the difference between Brood War Skytos and SC2 Skytos. As I mentioned, SC2 Skytos, going pure Skytos in StarCraft 2 is pretty bad. It's not very good, just because you're lacking that support, you're lacking that splash damage. Void Rays, they don't hold a candle to what an Archon and a High Templar provide to your army, right? Whereas, as I mentioned, here for Brood War, the Corsair does it all when it comes to supporting your army, just because of the splash damage that they provide, of course. Bearing in mind the Corsairs, they only do that against other air units, so if there was any kind of ground support, they're less effective. But that, yeah, I don't think that matters anywhere near as much, though. Especially on an island map. I was gonna say that against pure Skytos on a regular map, you could argue that maybe Hydra Lurker Viper or Hydra Lurker Infestor is a little bit more viable, but specifically I'm referring to pure Skytos. But even then, like, it's, yeah, I mean, that's when you can try to rely on disruption webs, for example, to break up a ground army, to counter, you know, something like Hydra Tech, of course. And Yeah, it definitely proves to be a different kind of issue, different problem. Regardless, GG well played. Yeah, Yakov, he found out the hard way. He did find out the hard way. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Let's go. Was the cloak? The cloak is the arbiter. Yes. As is being explained in the chat, the arbiter does provide a passive cloak. Unlike the mothership is an ability that you have to activate. For the arbiter, it is a passive cloak, but I believe the cloak range and the radius around the arbiter is shorter than that of the mothership. So it is not uncommon to get multiple arbiters, not just for cloaking, but also for stasis fields. We didn't get to see it come into play, but that would also help against any kind of ground army. Is stasis fields that can completely shut down a ground force as well. Like the brutal Protoss Armada is crazy. It's crazy good. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, the Brood War Zerg, going gas first. It is YoungYakov. Go. We go. So we are settling into our next game. And this time we're going to be settling into one of the more standard, one of the ladder maps. I say standard. We're going to be loading into one of the ladder maps. This map is shorter rush distance by ground, more aggressive, more assertive. Early game aggression can be favored here on Pylon. And we'll see how YoungYakov will open up here. Now, when it comes to Brood War openers, when we had early gas, there we go, some very fast second gas geyser. This feels like the goal is to rush into a fast lair. If we're rushing into a fast lair and leaning towards muta play, maybe fast gases like this can support, can support Hydras, and we are rushing into a very fast Hydra den. Okay, I was leaning towards lair, but no, fast Hydras instead. So Yakov is going for a Hydra rush, he is going for early game aggression. This is not a standard opener by any means. And MindelVK is unaware. Now, unfortunately, MindelVK, what did he see? He saw the late expansion, he saw the early gas, but he doesn't see the tech. This is on MindelVK. The probe was here, the probe did not scout. He has a piece of the puzzle. As I mentioned, he's aware that the base is late, he's aware that the gas is early, but in his mind, like I was thinking, this could be fast lair. This could be a fast lair, or it could be fast Hydras. Both are available, both are viable. As Yakov does slip in, still on MindelVK to piece it all together. Is he just Yakov now? Is he getting old like the rest of? We have casted old Yakov before. Like he has changed his ID to old Yakov in the past, but now he's not young, he's not old. He's just Yakov. He just is. Oh no. Meanwhile, Adept does shade in. Massive scout gets eyes on the Hydrogen already. And again, you can see Yakov, his drone count is very low. 19 workers. He is not saturating his natural base whatsoever. It is going to be essentially a one base all in. One base all in. Second base just for larva. And it's all or nothing with the Hydras. And back at home, bam! Wall of shield batteries. Shield batteries are on the way. Adepts are amassing. Twilight Council as well. Twilight Council wouldn't help too much here in the defense, which is my big concern. We need gateways more than anything. We need another gateway. We need a rover would have been ideal going into Glaive Adepts. A bold move here by MindelVK. Bearing in mind that the Brutal Hydra does not count as a light unit, so Glaive Adepts do less damage to Brutal Hydras than regular Hydras, or than SC2 Hydras. Shield batteries are done. But so is Hydra speed for these Hydras. Again, they're so mobile here. They start to step in. Gateway's gonna go down. MindelVK trying to engage. Oof. As one Hydra falls. Hydra does fall up. Once again, started stepping in. I mean, the shield batteries, they're putting in a lot of work. Boys are being pulled. There's the pylon. Oh no, the pylon! No, don't like this yet. The pylon goes down, and there are no backup pylons. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, there's no backup pylons. We have more shield batteries finishing up, but the shield batteries, they remain depowered. And that might just be game. That might just be game then and there. Stalkers are being forced back. Glaives are on the way. Again, I don't think Glaives is going to help too much. Boys are being pulled. Oof, as another Stalker goes down. There's 2 Stalkers left. Thankfully, everything does get repowered, but he can only warp in 1 Stalker at a time. And behind this, Yakov, he begins to drone. He begins to drone up. Takes down 13 probes. Likewise collapsing on that last Stalker, but the shield batteries are ready for this. Going for the pylon. Oh, can he keep it alive? He barely can. He barely can. Not enough DPS. Yakov, he has to back up. He has to pull away. Going for the lair. And I would imagine heading towards the lurker tech. But again, the drone count is still very low. It's such a low drone count. MindelVK, he did lose 13 probes in the defense. 14 probes even. But he can rebuild. I mean, glaives are done, I suppose. True. Glaives has completed as an upgrade. There are 2 adepts. They can wreak havoc. They can try to pop off. As there it is, lurker production or lurker tech is on the way. Adepts, they do threaten a shade. Shading into the main. Drones are going to be going down, getting 1, 2 drones so far, getting a 3rd. Not bad. Killing 3 workers. He also scouts that the hydrogen is still researching. Can piece together that lurkers are on the way. And MindelVK, he's trying to recover economically here, but he has no detection. Like, this rush into lurker tech, it may just end the game. There's no star gauge, there's no robo, so there's no observer, there's no oracle, there's no revelation, no detection. MindelVK moving out on 2 bases. Meanwhile, Yakov, he's not droning. Like, he has stopped droning at this point. He's massing on more hydras, massing on more lings. Lurkers are scouted. And now Yakov is trying to dive on the army. So we're going to dive in. Star steps forward. Nice pickup. Takes down an adept. Adepts, they do get behind the mineral line. They are forcing YoungYakov back home. And now we have the robo on the way. Honestly, really crucial here. MindelVK is just buying time. He's just buying time. He's keeping the army busy. Shades into the main. Gets another drone. Takes down 5 workers. Aye. 5 drones go down. And Yakov, he has to re-drone. The timing that it was going for, he missed it. He missed that timing. Now he has to drone up. Now he has to saturate. We do have a force to be reckoned with, though. We'll see if Yakov can make use of it. But now, turtling up. The lunkers are turtling. Yakov is droning. Okay, we're getting into a longer game. Let's go. Getting into a longer game state. Setting up on the high ground. And we're just gonna calm down. Yeah, we're just calming down. Yakov, he's still not really droning though. Like, that's my big concern. Like, he droned up a little bit up to 2 bases, but he's just leaving that 3rd base completely alone. He's massing up. He's going for another push. This time, 2 base all in. 2 base all in at YoungYakov. He refuses to drone. He makes up more lurkers, more hydras. Now there is an observer. Thankfully, there is an immortal. Adepts, they confirm no drones. Yeah, they shade across, they confirm there's nothing here. Ooh, diving in the army. He wants the Immortal, and he's gonna get it. Yeah, massive pickup. Immortal goes down. Lurkers, their range is much shorter in Brood War, so shorter lurker, or just shorter range in lurkers. Despite that, they still collapse on the army. They're moving in. They are moving in. Lurkers, they nibble away at the wall. And they will bring it down. Oh god, as the army just cannot push through that choke point. There's no moving into that. Hydras, they move in front. Another Cybercore going to be going down. And MindelVK is going to try to break out, but oh god, he cannot push into that many lurkers. Not like this. Not like this. And Yakov, he has done it. He's breaking through for a second time. Lurkers are pushing in. Once again, the range isn't ideal, so the army can step away, but the base itself is under fire. The base itself is going to be going down. Behind this, Spire's on the way. Okay. Spire's on the way, diving on the main army. GG gets called, and Yakov will tap the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match here. Again, hyper aggression out of Yakov. Just going for the initial 1 base all in, followed by the 2 base all in, just never really allowing MindelVK to stabilize. And now we're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Vermeer. Let's go. Another 4-player small map. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Vermeer, we have the red Protoss player representing Psystorm Gaming, being forced into a tied series. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player, the Broodor Zerg. It is YoungYakov. So we have Broodor Zerg up against SC2 Protoss. Here we go. MindelVK with the instant vertical scout. He does go south to the south side of the map, and he will find YoungYakov immediately. So a quick scout here out of MindelVK. Bearing in mind this is a 4-player spawn map, you can spawn in any corner of the map, but MindelVK, he will find YoungYakov immediately. Does find him. Does poke in, does confirm. As Yakov, he does scout vertically as well, so he will find his opponents also instantly, so they're both familiar with each other's spawn location. Bearing in mind, sorry, I didn't get to point it out, but there is a change that was recently made to the mod where 4-player spawn maps, they are still 4-player spawn maps, but at the start of the game they actually ping certain locations, and they do eliminate one of the possible locations. So then it becomes like kind of 50-50 with whether or not you find your opponent. So there's less RNG. There's less RNG here on a map like Vermeer or near Isles of Siren. Just because now there are only 2 possible spawn locations that you're aware of, not 3. Meanwhile, Jesus, once again, we're rushing into fast tech. Now, remember, last game, we rushed into a fast Hydra Den. This time, rushing into a fast lair. Okay. Now, because of the faster lair, I'm leaning more towards Spire play. There aren't really that many options when it comes to Broodor Zerg, when it comes to your tech, just because there's no Roach Warren, there's no Bailey Nest. So it's either going to be Ling Hydra or Ling Spire, Ling Muta, one or the other. And because Hydra tech is hatch based and the gases are being taken, this all screams 2-base Muta. It screams 2-base Muta. We have Ling Speed now being researched after the lair. MindelVK himself opening up Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener. From here, I'm imagining Glaive Adepts, maybe even DTs. DTs will be a little bit less effective here, just because of the Overlords. And there it is, Spire into Mutas, which is to be expected. As we mentioned, like, there's only really 2 different two different tech paths here for Broodor Zerg. It's either Hydras or Mutas. And the lair did scream Muta. as MindelVK does move out. You notice that's one of the things about brutal races here in, I mean, not just in StarCraft Evolution, in brutal in general, is compositions are a lot more limited. They're a lot more limited compared to an SC2, but the army himself, the units themselves are obviously more powerful here, so that makes up for it. Makes up for the just less units that are available. MindelVK threatening a dive, trying to get a read on what's going on. MindelVK, he hasn't seen much at all. He hasn't seen the gas, he hasn't seen the lair, but as I mentioned, it is only two options. So MindelVK, he should have an idea what's going on. He's rushing into charge. This is gonna be interesting. On the one hand, he's going for his own 2 base all in. So MindelVK is going for his own 2 base all in. The problem though is that when this prism goes down, and it should be found by the mutas soon, I mean, that's gonna be the end of it. Mutas, a cannon will shut down this prism. Here comes the attempted warp in. The warp in will complete. Yeah, it does barely complete in time. And how many drone kills? How many workers can we kill before the mutas do clean this up? Going for the mineral line. Getting 3, getting 4 drone kills so far. Getting up to 5. 5 workers go. I mean, this is decent damage here, but back at home, we need some anti-air. We need something that shoots up. Gas is now being taken. Stalkers warping in, but these are going to be vanilla stalkers here from MindelVK. And Yakov knows that. He just scouted. He just saw the charge, right? He just saw charge. He knows, Twilight Count's opening to charge. I know you don't have blink. You don't have blink. You don't have anything else. As mutas, they take their time getting across the map. Zealots, they do help buy that time. More stalkers warping in. Yakov towards the main. Collapsing all the stalkers themselves. Takes down 2. 2 for 1. Likewise, you can one-shot probes. Getting another 6, 7, 8, 9 probe kills. Aye. 9 workers go down. He just fight the stalkers. Yeah, you can just turn and fight. There's 3 stalkers left. 2 stalkers remaining. Down to 1. And soon to be down to none. Oof. As there's just nothing here at home to defend. A couple of zealots, they do peel off across the map, but there's a full wall. Mineral line goes down. And YoungYakov, he gets out of hand. GG gets called. YoungYakov with, I would say, a hard counter. Remember, MindelVK, he went for a 2-base charge all-in against 2-base muta, which meant that he had no answer to the mutas. GG. GG. YoungYakov will claim the series. He will advance on to the semifinals, and the question becomes, I believe we already know who he will face off against, but we do have another quarterfinals match ahead of us. We have another match ahead of us here. Up next, we just wrapped up with MindelVK versus YoungYakov. Up next is going to be Wayne versus Rebellion in another ZvP. Let's go.